Now, some members of parliament in the Section 194 inquiry want Advocate Dali Mpofu investigated for threatening its chairperson, Dyantyi, yesterday. The heated exchanges have been part of the proceedings for quite some time now, and the inquiry is probing Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office. Now, one of the members of that inquiry, who's also been at some point trying to come in between, has been the ATM President, Vuyo Zungula. Thank you so much for your time this evening. First of all, your overall impressions on what is happening so far, because we're seeing some concerns around these heated exchanges, others describing them as shameful, intolerable and deeply troubling, others saying that they are well warranted because it's a heated process. What is your reaction?
Thank you. Firstly, this is a clear indication that this process has got a clear mandate and a clear objective, which is to find Advocate Mkhwebane guilty, find Advocate Mkhwebane incompetent. Therefore, if anyone wants to push for a fair process, to push for an objective process, to push for an objective and fair inquiry, that person will be victimized. I myself have been a victim of how the chairperson has thrown me out of a meeting just by merely stating that he can't be telling other members to address them for as long as they want. But when I am addressing the committee, he limits me to an hour. So what happened yesterday was a clear sign that that chairperson of that committee is biased. That chairperson of that committee has got a clear outcome and is going to do whatever it is in his power to make sure that the committee goes as directed to the outcome that he wants, which is to find Advocate Mkhwebane, incompetent. Yesterday, the Advocate Mpofu raised a point of order just before the evidence leader spoke, and the chairperson said, "I'm going to allow you to address after he's spoken." Now, when the evidence leader was done speaking, Advocate Mpofu was addressing that point of order. The chairperson was, you're not going to speak about those things. You're just going to speak about, what I'm asking you to say. And when Advocate Mpofu is reminding him about the point of order that the chairperson, has said is going to allow him to speak, the chairperson would not allow any person, to actually hear.
So,
and what is... Yes.
Pardon me, Dr. Zungula, for coming in there. Let's then stay with that, because there was, of course, that exchange where Advocate Dali Mpofu then says that, I'm senior to you in many ways and all of that. And then the chairperson coming out to say, "Are you threatening me?" And he says, "Yes." And then he says, "Actually, that is a promise." Some have said he crossed the line, though.
You need to observe and take that statement in the context of what the advocate would have meant. When a person is saying, "I'm making a threat," for example, I've also threatened to write to the speaker for the speaker to rule that chairperson is not fit for the process, is a biased chairperson. Therefore, when I was making those statements, I would not have crossed the line. I would have made a commitment or a threat or a promise, however a person can call it. But it is a promise or a threat that is in line with my, with my rights as a member of the committee.
So what you're saying then, is that the members that are calling for Advocate Dali Mpofu's conduct to be investigated, basically these calls are not warranted?
They're not warranted because this morning Advocate Mpofu said he has written or is going to apply for the recusal of that chairperson. Therefore, it could be that what he was addressing yesterday in the so-called threat or a promise was actually that recusal.
So do you support this recusal?
Definitely. Honorable Dyantyi is very, very biased. He runs the process as if, firstly, there's a particular timeline he needs to finish with. Secondly, you remember yesterday, we raised the issue of a postponement to allow Advocate Mpofu and the public protector, number one, to focus on the fact that the Advocate Mkhwebane is sick. Secondly, they need to prepare for the court papers. He blatantly disregarded, ignored, and he said he's the chairperson, he takes a particular ruling. In the afternoon, Advocate Mpofu and his team receives an email that says that the proceedings will be suspended up until next week, which is something that in the committee he denied or he did not want to agree to. Now, which clearly shows that, number one, he made the wrong decision yesterday. Secondly, he's being controlled from somewhere, because there's no way in which during the day in the meeting you say you do not want a postponement, but few hours later you write a letter saying a postponement has been granted, whereas in the meeting you denied Advocate Mpofu a postponement. So the chairperson is a very, very biased person.
All right, let's leave it there with you for now and see what comes out of this one, because we have also reached out to the chairperson and hoping to speak to him tomorrow on what exactly is going on here and what are his thoughts. Let's leave it there with you for now. Thank you so much for your time. That was the ATM President Vuyo Zungula.